Echoes from the past. A look back at a world transformed. Life changes remarkably quickly, doesn't it? It seems like only yesterday we lived in a world quite different from today's. Technology, culture, and everyday items had shifted dramatically. Let's take a stroll down memory lane, revisiting familiar touchstones from the 80s and 90s, decades that shaped many of us, and reflect on the changes. 1. The Friday night ritual. VHS tapes and video rental stores. Do you remember those Friday nights, perhaps after a long work week, when the family would head to the local video store? Places like Blockbuster or smaller shops were weekend entertainment beacons. Walking in meant entering a world of choices, often with the faint scent of popcorn in the air. You'd browse the aisles, debating the latest action flick, a family comedy, or a classic. These weren't just rental spots, they were community hubs for chatting about films and discovering hidden gems. Of course, who could forget the Be Kind, Rewind mantra and the dread of late fees? Today, movies come to us via Netflix or Hulu with a few clicks. The convenience is undeniable, yet sometimes, amidst endless scrolling, don't you miss the tangible excitement of the video store hunt? 2. Before pockets rang. The reign of the payphone. It's hard to explain to younger generations, but instant, constant communication wasn't always a given. If you were out and needed to call, check in, coordinate, handle business, you looked for a payphone. These sturdy booths were ubiquitous fixtures on streets and in stations. Finding a working one, having the right change, sometimes waiting in line. It was all part of the process. They were essential lifelines when away from home or office lines. Then came the mobile revolution, starting with brick-like phones and evolving into smaller, smarter devices. The need for public phones plummeted. Those once vital booths vanished, replaced by kiosks or Wi-Fi hotspots. A stark reminder of how quickly technology renders the essential obsolete. 3. The art of the mixtape. Cassette tapes and radio waves. Long before Spotify playlists, many of us spent hours hunched over dual cassette decks, finger posed on record. The mission, to capture a favorite song from the radio. Remember the anticipation, tuning the dial, waiting through ads, hoping to catch the song from the start without DJ chatter. Crafting a mixtape was an art, a labor of love, sharing your musical soul by carefully ordering tracks to convey emotion. Today, music is instant via streaming services. The convenience is incredible, but the cassette era had a unique, tactile charm. The weight, the effort, the satisfaction of a physical musical creation. Appointment viewing. The dominance of network TV. Recall a time before DVRs and streaming. Remember gathering the family at a specific time for a favorite sitcom or drama, or rushing home so you wouldn't miss an episode. Network television dictated our schedules. We consulted printed TV guides, set VCRs hopefully. Missing an episode meant being out of the loop in conversations the next day. Now, with on-demand giants like Netflix, we watch anything, anytime. Binge watching is common. This freedom is great, but it changed how we consume TV. The shared anticipation and collective viewing experience have largely faded. 5. A hazy memory. Smoke-filled airplane cabins. It's hard to believe now, but smoking on planes was once normal, like ordering tomato juice. Airlines had smoking and non-smoking sections, often barely separated. For non-smokers, it meant enduring smoky air. As awareness of second-hand smoke dangers grew, especially in confined spaces, things changed. Starting in the late 80s and through the 90s, smoking bans were phased in. By the early 2000s, it was globally prohibited. Smoke-free skies are a major public health victory, showing the power of science and shifting social norms. 6. The urgent beep. Life with a pager. Remember those small plastic devices clipped to belts, emitting that distinct beep? Pagers were peak 90s mobile tech, crucial for professionals needing to be reachable. Doctors, firefighters, executives. Receiving a page meant seeing a number or code and then finding a phone, often a payphone, to call back. It created a sense of being constantly tethered. That the rise of mobile phones, offering two-way communication, quickly made one-way pagers obsolete. Today, they're mostly nostalgic relics of a time when communication was more interrupted. 7. Quarter munchers and high scores. The glory days of the arcade. From pager urgency to arcade cacophony. 1980s mall arcades were temples of electronic entertainment. Remember entering that dim space, assaulted by a symphony of bleeps, loops, and frantic button mashing. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Space Invaders. These were cultural phenomena. Arcades were social hubs for friendly competition and striving for high scores, but their golden age waned with powerful home consoles like Nintendo and Sega. Why feed quarters when you could play sophisticated games at home? Convenience won. Arcades are now nostalgic symbols of a pixelated past. 8. Navigating by paper. The era of road maps and atlases. Before Siri or Google Maps, finding your way was an adventure. Remember unfolding large, cumbersome paper maps, perhaps balanced on the steering wheel, or tracing routes in an atlas before a trip. Navigation required map-reading skills, sometimes asking for directions. Successfully navigating felt like an accomplishment. Of course, there were wrong turns too. Then came GPS, first as separate devices, now in our phones. Punch in an address, and a voice guides you. Paper maps became backups. It kept it all. Efficiency is undeniable, but perhaps we lost some engagement with the landscape and the satisfaction of finding our own way. 9. The soundtrack of connection. Dial-up internet's unique song. Can you hear it? That unforgettable screeching, buzzing sequence signaling an internet connection, attempt via phone line. That was dial-up, the 90s gateway to the online world. Patience was key. Connections were slow. Downloading an image took minutes, a song much longer. Online video was sci-fi, and being online tied up the phone line. Despite frustrations, it felt revolutionary. Then broadband arrived. Faster, always on. Dial-up faded, a symbol of a time when accessing the digital world required tolerance for that distinctive electronic handshake. 11. The bigger, shinier disc in home video's evolution. Before DVD, there was Laserdisc, large, shimmering discs, LP-sized, offering better picture sound than VHS. Owning a player felt cutting-edge, aimed at videophiles willing to pay a premium. But they were expensive, cumbersome, required flipping mid-movie, and couldn't record. As VHS improved and affordable DVDs arrived in the late 90s, Laserdisc faded. Today, they're collector's items, an interesting technological stepping stone. 12. The clack and ding. Imagine writing without a backspace key, where mistakes needed correction fluid or starting over. That was typewriter reality, dominating offices and homes for decades. Remember the rhythmic clacking, the satisfying ding at line's end. Typing required precision. The arrival of personal computers and word processing, with easy editing and saving, ended the typewriter's reign. Now nostalgic objects, they symbolize a pre-digital era of composition. 13. Your personal soundtrack. The Walkman revolution. Before smartphones held music libraries, the Sony Walkman meant portable music freedom. Hugely popular in the 80s, 90s, these personal cassette players let us take music anywhere. Clipping it on, donning headphones, pressing play, you entered your own audio world. It fueled mixtape culture. The Walkman was a cultural icon of youth and independence. CD players, MP3 players like the iPod. Then smartphones gradually replaced it. Yet, it holds a special place, marking the dawn of personal, portable music and the tactile joy of cassettes. 14. Waiting for the prints, the anticipation of film photography. In an age of instant digital previews, remember film photography? Using a 35mm camera and limited exposures 24 or 36, each click felt deliberate. You considered composition, focus, lighting, often without auto settings, no instant feedback. Remember dropping film off, then waiting days with anticipation. Picking up the prints was exciting, reliving moments, seeing which shots worked. Digital is convenient, but the forced deliberation and delayed gratification of film fostered a different appreciation for the process. 15. Cleaner air, healthier lives. The phase-out of leaded gasoline. This change profoundly impacted public health. For much of the 20th century, leaded gasoline was standard, boosting octane but posing severe health risks, especially to children's development, due to lead emissions. Recognizing the dangers, governments mandated phasing it out starting in the 70s, 80s. Promoting unleaded fuel was a monumental public health achievement, drastically reducing lead pollution. It shows how regulation based on science benefits health and environment. 16. Movies under the stars. The magic of drive-in theaters. On a warm summer night, was anything like the drive-in. Finding a spot, hooking up the crackly speaker or tuning the FM radio. Watching a movie on a giant screen, under the stars. It was casual, family-friendly. Kids in pajamas, bringing snacks. Drive-ins peaked mid-century, a decline due to rising land values, VCRs, and multiplexes. Though most vanished, a few remain, cherished for their nostalgic appeal, evoking simpler times and outdoor movie magic. 17. Grooving and sweating. The jazzercise phenomenon. Cue the synth music and leg warmers. The 80s fitness boom featured jazzercise prominently. These high-energy group aerobics classes combined dance and calisthenics to pop music. Remember the colorful leotards and headbands? Jazzercise was social, fun, making exercise feel like a party. Its dominance waned as new trends step, spinning, yoga and home workouts emerge. Though jazzercise still exists, its iconic 80s version remains a vibrant memory of bold fitness fashion. 18. Ink on your fingers. The morning newspaper ritual before smartphones. Many started their day with a printed newspaper. Remember the rustling pages, the ink smell? Reading the paper at breakfast was a ritual, catching up on news, sports, comics, maybe doing the crossword. It was a shared community reference point. The internet and mobile devices changed news consumption to be instant, personalized. While digital is fast, the decline of the print ritual signifies a shift from a shared, tangible information source to a more fragmented, individual experience. 19. Bold, bright, and tight. The neon spandex era. Some trends define an era. In the 80s, it was neon spandex, blindingly bright pinks, greens, yellows and tight-fitting styles. Fueled by the fitness craze and a culture of excess, neon spandex hit the streets. Leggings, bodysuits, bike shorts. It screamed confidence and energy. Like most extreme trends, it faded with 90s minimalism grunge. Muted tones. While neon reappears, the sheer ubiquity and unapologetic brightness of 80s neon spandex remain a distinct hallmark of that decade's style. 20. Saving data, square by square. The age of floppy disks. Before USB drives or the cloud, how did we save files? With floppy disks. First the truly floppy 8-inch, 5.25-inch, then rigid 3.5-inch ones. They held tiny amounts of data by today's standards, were fragile, and required careful handling and labeling. Remember the whirring, clicking sounds. As file sizes grew, floppies became inadequate, replaced by zip drives, C-disks, USB-S, and cloud storage. The floppy disk, once essential, is now a nostalgic icon like the save symbol, representing early personal computing. Looking back at these snapshots, video stores, payphones, mixtapes, dial-up tones, isn't just about the objects, but how we live with them. They represent different rhythms, connections, and expectations. These echoes likely stir your own memories. Reflecting on these changes reminds us how far technology has come and highlights the unique textures of the times that shaped us.